Thank you for inviting me. Well, first of all, so my name is Tom Verrept, and I'm in charge of business development for my impact tool. And I'm going to talk about sustainable events today. And first of all, I'd like to start by explaining why I think it's important for all of us to make events more sustainable. Well, if there is one thing that makes us as Homo sapiens unique, it is the fact that we can gather large groups of people together and do things with them. Now, if you look at the situation today, there are a lot of events and they are causing quite some impact on our environment. According to research, events cause 10% of all global CO2 emissions. And on top of that, a lot of waste that goes straight into landfill and a lot of pollution of various kinds. So we want to maintain the ability to organize events, but in a more sustainable way, because we know that legislation is moving in a direction with very ambitious targets for 2050, but already for 2030, to actually make sure that all of this impact will be reduced. Typically, where today we are emitting 10 tons of CO2 per person in Belgium, this is supposed to go to 2 tons per person, so a reduction of 80%. So you might say, well, what's in it for me and why does that concern me? Well, I think we all should be part of the solution and even help to inspire the world instead of being part of the pollution. And why is it important to start early with that? Because we see today that regulation is becoming stricter across Europe. As from today in July, in Italy, all single-use plastic wrapping of food has been forbidden. We see that more and more companies and institutions and public authorities are demanding proof of sustainability to give projects to all of us. And there is the case of the European Commission that contributed 30% of its criteria to select a supplier on sustainability. And this was for the I project, the European youth event that they're organizing. We also see that the public is actually not tolerating any unsustainable behavior anymore, and they might actually challenge you on social media if you're not respecting those guidelines. And more of the talent actually is choosing companies to work for that have a purpose and meaning. So it's important for us to start looking at that and to start looking at it immediately. So how can you tackle those challenges as part of the event ecosystem? Well, I think it starts with a change of mindset. There are a few habits that we need to change. There are a few common assumptions that need to be challenged. But if you do that, in fact, it is not that difficult to become more sustainable, but it requires a number of steps that you should do in an iterative way. Don't try to be perfect from one day to the other, but start by measuring and understanding what you're not doing well today, then try to find solutions to improve that step by step. Make sure that you can valorize whatever you are doing, that you can have some benefits from that as well. Gradually extend your expertise, and don't forget to communicate about what you're doing well so that you can inspire others. Very importantly, it's not only CO2 that you should be looking at. Obviously, CO2 is very important, but there are other aspects. And so the carbon footprint, everybody is focusing on this, and it represents a lot of the impact, and there is a lot of focus on it, and it's primarily linked to mobility. Today in Belgium, a lot of people still are going by car to events, and if you're doing international events with airplanes, it's even bigger, the impact. So that is an area to address. But next to that, there are other things. There is the audio-video equipment, the energy consumption, whatever you're giving away as goodies to people, all of that can have significant impact on your carbon footprint. And it starts by maybe considering, do you really have to do everything physical? Do you have to bring people from all over the world to one central location? Or can you do a hybrid or digital solution as we're doing today, which has obviously much lower impact? But next to that, there is also the generation of a lot of waste. So how can we use more ecological resources? How can we maximize the reuse of those resources so that we can limit the waste? And there is also the question of impact on the local environment. How can we make sure that we're not destroying green areas, polluting rivers, and minimizing all kinds of impacts on the local animals? And next to the ecological aspects, there is also the societal aspect. Think about things like inclusion. So how can, if we're redesigning my service, my events, how can we already take into account the requirement to have a more inclusive offering? And even next to that, how could we contribute to these sustainable development goals that are emitted by the United Nations and also adopted by the European Commission? How can we make sure that we're aiding to that we're offering solutions for people that are hunger? Or how can we improve the local habitats in our cities? Things like this, we can also have a positive contribution to that. That brings me to the tool that we are offering to the market. And so to show you how, and I want to show you how this tool can help you to achieve all those objectives. I'll start by showing the end result. And so the goal is to create a report for every single project that you're doing. Well, you don't have to do it for every project, but we advise you to. And this report will actually reflect what you're doing well and where there are areas of improvement. So we start off with a positive note, and we are reflecting all the positive contributions that you're doing to the Sustainable Development Goals. Like in this case, we're aiding the zero hunger objective by redistributing food that we have, the leftovers or unused food of an event. We are contributing to sustainable cities and communities by offering soft mobility solutions, by offering bike parkings, and so on. So this report also tells the world what we're doing well. And this report can be used by, well, can be sent to all stakeholders, to customers, to visitors, to authorities, to reflect what you're doing well. It's not only the positive things that we're looking at. We will also mention what is not yet being done, which could be then areas of improvement for a next iteration of the event. We're also focusing on the things that have a less good score. And so here you see the circular use of resources, where everything above a C is okay, and everything D and E is an attention point. And so here you see that mobility in many cases is indeed a point of attention. And so this report helps you to identify those and then to start looking for solutions to improve this aspect of your event for a next time. And so for that, we next to the report, we offer a set of guidelines that actually helps you to address all of these points. We look at the biodiversity impact, as I said, to see that we're not polluting too much or destructing any local habitats. And obviously, we also focus on the carbon footprint, where we mention the total emissions, we mention the emission per person per day, which is a a parameter that allows you to compare one event to the other in a more neutral way. And we will break down these emissions on all the various aspects of your event so that you know where you should focus on in order to reduce the impact. In many cases, on the travel, the mobility, it has the biggest impact on your CO2 emissions. And so this is obviously one of the first challenges to try to solve. After reducing the emissions to the maximum, we offer the option of integrating an offsetting project to compensate your emissions. But I want to add a warning to that. If, for instance, you're planting trees to compensate your emissions, it might take 30 years for those trees to actually compensate the CO2 emissions that you're creating today. So there is a lot of controversy about this. We advise people to focus on projects that compensate CO2 emissions, but that add other aspects like fighting poverty and redistributing wealth or educating people. And this is an example of a cook stove project in Peru that has those additional factors as well. Last but not least, so we're focusing on inclusion, where again, we're highlighting the points that we are doing well. And we're also identifying the elements that could be improved for a next time. So this is the report, which you can share with anybody to basically inspire them to do the same as what you're doing today, and also to leverage a little bit the good efforts that you're doing. So how do you create such a report? So we created a questionnaire, and I'm going to open this. Here. So I've already filled in the entire questionnaire so that we can go faster through the screens. So, but the questionnaire is designed for event professionals, various types of event professionals, and to be able to fill it in without having expert knowledge on sustainability. So it's organized in different tabs, where each of the tabs are linked to a specific aspect of the entire event ecosystem. And we add a lot of explanations to the questions in order to make sure that everybody understands what they need to fill in and how to collect that data. And on top of that, we offer the possibility to help people. So we are available to explain all of these things if, despite the tips and recommendations, some things remain unclear for you. So there is support available for the process of filling in the report, and even to validate or review a report afterwards to make sure that everything was done well. So the first tab will look at the project parameters of the event itself: where, when, how many people, how much preparation was done, how much disassembly has to be done. The second tab looks at the location, the venue, and all of the mobility that is related to going to this venue. And so all of this, again, is designed in a way to be as user-friendly as possible. A lot of the questions are conditional. So in total, there are 80 questions, but a lot of them don't necessarily have to be filled in. And so, for instance, if you're not offering catering, you simply mention that you're not offering catering, and then a lot of questions just disappear. It is only if you are offering catering that we will go into the details of what type of catering is offered and how many people are consuming that, so that we can assess the impact of that. And a lot of the questions are designed in a way to actually minimize the effort that you need to do for it. For instance, if you look at all the audio, video, visual equipment, instead of listing every single device, we are basically asking for a budget so that we can estimate the number of equipment, and we don't have to detail it. And so we will look for budgets in order to estimate quantities, and then we will use percentages to estimate the number of, to go into further detail on how much is reused, how much is created only for this event, and what type of materials are used for this event. And so everything it has a number of checks to make sure that we're not making any human errors in filling in the details. So you can have only 100% of material, and so we're checking that the total of the individual types adds up to 100. So this is how the tool is designed. And as I said, we offer our support in order to help you and understand all of these questions. You can collaborate with other people inside or outside your organization in order to fill in this report together. And there are, you can do this at multiple moments in time. So it's you can do a simulation before the event. You can do even many different simulations to compare different choices. You can generate the report after the event, after that, once that all the data is available, and you can include in there, if you want, this offsetting certificate that allows you to basically compensate the impact that you have done. So this is the report for one single event that I mentioned, but you can actually track your performance over multiple events. So we have a dashboard that gives an overview of everything that happened, offering your total contributions, tracking your carbon footprint of each individual event, giving also an average across all events. And this you can use to do reporting, for instance, for your yearly report, to obtain certificates, but also to show your gradual progress towards the more stricter sustainability targets. And this dashboard can be filtered as you want for a specific period in time, for a specific type of event, for a specific customer, or even for one specific event organizer or contributor according to the configuration. So this is not only, so we offer the tool to report one single event, but the dashboard actually allows you to track them over time and allows you to gradually learn and improve. So this is a quick run through the demonstration of the tool. Okay, and in fact, I will help you to understand. So where should you begin doing this? So where can you begin learning about to be more sustainable? So we offer a free trial with our tool, and we will highlight you the link afterwards. So anybody can create one account free of charge and has one report included in there. And this report helps you to identify what you're doing well today and what could be improved. And so at the link myimpacttool.com, there you find all the information and you see the start free trial where you can create your account. Now, to do that, you need to fill in some company details, some user profile information, and then basically accept the terms and conditions to set up the account. So, but this can go very quickly. And that's very important, once you do that, you will receive an email where you have to click on the link in order to activate your account. And once you've done that, you can start basically analyzing any event that you want. Now, the first time that you do that is obviously the most difficult. And it is not plug and play. It's not something with 10 clicks and you have a detailed sustainability report. So it takes time and it takes some effort, to, especially the first time. So we recommend to pick an event with enough time in the future so that you can actually collect all the data necessary for it and even make some changes to improve your performance if needed. If you take a past event or something like last minute, there will be many other priorities that will maybe push you to abandon this sustainability assessment. We advise people to start with a project that is not too commercially risky, because your first report may not be your best report. So if your customer expects a perfect report, you might have to spend some effort to reach that. So start with an internal event or an event where there is a good relationship with the event responsible, or where there is no real obligation to publish a report from the beginning. And that allows you to learn and improve. And most importantly, pick a team to work on that is really motivated by sustainability, because this first time will require extra efforts, and those people will be the most inclined to spend that extra effort, and they will act as ambassadors, as internal champions for rolling out sustainability across the rest of your organization. And then we see that once you practice a little bit, practice makes perfect. The first time, collecting data from all your suppliers may take up to four weeks, and entering all this data in the tool might take you 60 minutes. And in general, the report is not perfect. Once you've done it a few times, you drastically reduce the time that you need to spend on both collecting the data and entering it, and your results become better and better. And once this has become routine, which is the case at VO Group, the mother company that we're working for, basically collecting this sustainability information is embedded in the process, so it's not costing any additional time. Entering the data goes as fast as 30 minutes for a report that is made from scratch, and only 5 minutes to actually use an existing template and to duplicate it for a new event. And in fact, the results become quite positive, which help us to attract more customers. So practice makes perfect. Now, how do you need to involve in this? I've already mentioned collecting data from all the different suppliers. So basically, in order to be more sustainable, you need to engage every single stakeholder. You need to involve all the suppliers, the staff, the venue, the local government, and even the participants and the decision makers in order to go all in the same direction. Because sustainability addresses every single aspect of your event. It is not only the fact that you it's not only eating vegetarian food, it's also limiting the mobility using fossil fuels. It is the wrapping of everything. It is the way you handle your waste. It is how you use signage, and every single aspect of this event will be looked at. And so that's why it is very important to collect all of this data, and in fact to involve everyone in this ecosystem so that we minimize the work to do the report, and we optimize the chances of everybody in the chain to actually contribute to more sustainability. Very importantly, it is not a one-time activity either. It starts with the very beginning, where people will use tools like this to, well, basically include them in their requirements. You will analyze different concepts, and you will want to compare them not only on cost and experience, but also on sustainability. Once you've chosen a concept, you will use it in the planning phase, selecting all the suppliers, identifying every deliverable that they're giving, and then assessing the impact of that. It goes over the production and then the actual event where we will measure everything, the real-time data, and then afterwards we might integrate a compensation project, and we will use the final report to draw conclusions on how to improve things the next time. So it is really sustainability impacts the entire chain of the delivery of events. Now, okay, that sounds like a lot of extra efforts. Is there anything that you can get out of it as well? What's in it for us? So by using a tool, in fact, it allows you to skip a quite long learning curve. So at VO Group, we've invested since years in sustainability. We have our own dedicated experts to do that. That is not, it is time consuming and expensive. So by using a tool, you can actually skip this learning curve and gradually measure, reduce where necessary, and then report your progress. And so overnight, you could actually start building up this experience, leveraging, the expertise that is available externally. Because all of this has been designed and supervised and supported by independent experts in the various sustainability areas. So we've not invented this on our own. We've been working together with a lot of independent experts that have validated this tool and that are also available, if necessary, to help out the users of the tool to improve their sustainability. And it allows you to actually create more sustainable events, but also to showcase this to the outside world. And this is the case for small events, typically in a B2B context, but also for very big events, including in a B2C context. This is the case of football club Union Saint-Gilles, who is actually using our tool since a year now to measure and improve the sustainability of their football games at home. It can also be used to leverage the sustainability of a venue. This is the case of the Bell Brussels, that has done a lot of investments to create the most sustainable building possible. Well, by adding a tool for every single event, you can actually reflect not only the impact of the building, but the impact that it has on every single event. And you can use the tool to train event teams to become more sustainable and to prove their sustainability to the outside world, which was done for Infrabel, where their internal event organizers are using the tool to ensure the sustainability of each of their events. So it helps you to achieve more sustainable events, but at the same time, it gives you a lot of other benefits. By focusing on this, you are innovating and optimizing your processes. It allows you to differentiate yourselves from others, from your competitors. It will give you a lot more resilience against sudden policy changes that might be there in the future. And last but not least, you are building up your skills in-house so that tomorrow you can be a more sustainable supplier yourself without the need of external help. So it's been used already by quite some associations, companies, suppliers, all types of actors in the event space in Belgium and outside of Belgium. So our ambition is to make all events worldwide more sustainable. And so far, the feedback that we are collecting from our customers is quite positive. So it is not an easy exercise to assess the sustainability of an event. That's very important to keep in mind. But the tool helps you to do that in a user-friendly way and at the same time with enough credibility. And it helps you to communicate well with both the customers and all the suppliers in the ecosystem so that you can together evolve towards a more sustainable event. So to finish my exposition, so obviously there is also the question, how much is this going to cost me? Well, the good news is that at first it doesn't cost you at all. So we're offering one free report for everybody so that you can actually assess your current situation and learn about what is important to be more sustainable, totally free of charge. And so at the same link we already mentioned earlier, you can create your account and to do that. Obviously, we also need to maintain this tool and to constantly improve it. So we have to ask money in order to do that, because our model has to be sustainable as well from an economic point of view. But the licenses that we're asking to people are designed in a modular way. So you can actually start with 1 credit for 1 report for 500 euros, which if you are doing only very few events or only very few of them need a report, then you can start off with that. You can, once you buy multiple credits, you can actually, you get a discount. So then it adds up to 400 euros per report. And if you're doing a lot of them, then you can take a yearly license where you have unlimited reports, unlimited users, unlimited customers and projects, so that you can actually use this for all of them. And today we're focusing primarily on events. Very shortly, there will also be a template to address any type of communication campaign. And there is a license where you can basically have both and address both events and communication campaigns in exactly the same way and with the same tool. We offer, especially for Event Confederation, for this event today, and for all people linked to Event Confederation, we're offering a discount of 10% on these licenses until the end of the year to stimulate you even more to start learning and assessing about sustainability as soon as possible. So this will be, well, we will come back to there is a specific code to obtain this discount, and this will be included in the slides so that you can find it afterwards if you want. So that is the end of my presentation. I hope everything was comprehensive.